And you've been doing a lot of cool things since you've been in quarantine. Like you didn't just like a lot of people, you didn't take the time to relax. It seems like you've been working pretty hard.
Yeah, I mean, I won't lie. There was a period, like anybody, I think that, this was something that nobody had ever even prepared for mentally. Like, I mean, I think we
Yeah.
prepared for like crazy things like, you know, deaths and the worst things possible. But like, this was nothing that literally anybody had ever mentally even thought possible. So I think that everybody has gone through, some people are still going through, understandably so this period of not knowing how to mentally process this whole thing. And I definitely went through it for a bit. And, you know, I kind of forced myself to make things even more than I usually did. It helped me. But dude, there were some early on in the quarantine, there were some days that were mentally really tough. But I think like most people, I'm just speaking for myself though, that like I'm starting to find a groove in this quarantine thing where like I'm having more happy days mentally than funky days in my head, like. So, but yeah, man, and I think that for me, what works, and I know everybody's different, but what works for me is to just keep making something, always have something that I'm working on, whether it's TikTok videos or a short film or podcast or something. I'm trying to keep myself busy that I don't ever have the downtime to like get too stuck in my head and, trail off into negative, dark land, like.
Yeah. And I love your TikToks. You did one recently where you're like shouting at your neighbor. I think you posted that recently. That was really funny.
Thanks, man. That's fun. What's funny about that character is when Vine was a big thing, like years ago, I was really into Vine, and that was one of my like more popular Vine characters. And I've been going hard on TikTok lately. I think TikTok's such a great platform. One of the few platforms where the algorithm is actually for the user and actually benefits, the people and that make the content for it. But I kind of recently was like, oh my gosh, this character that I did years ago on Vine would fit perfectly in this quarantine world. This guy who's just like desperately seeking friendship from this other person. But it's one of my favorite characters, and glad you like it, man.
Yeah, man. And so you said you were pretty big on Vine. How do you like it compared to TikTok? Because TikTok, it's so strange. I used to like kind of scoff at it and be like, "Oh, that's the platform where all the cringy kids go and do Fortnite dances and stuff." But now it's like grown into some of the best, like most genuine like comedy videos I've seen in the past couple of years. Like some of the best internet videos I've seen have come from TikTok. So what do you think of that, man?
Yeah, the way I've always, it's weird, man. Like I go through like phases where, I kind of get sucked into public opinion of outlets and stuff, but I try to lean to the side of TikTok's just another place to put stuff, And to me, the way I'm really trying to think now is the more you put your stuff places, the more people see it. Like if you're so particular about your aesthetic or like where your content is, then like you might only get 100, 200 views, which there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, like I make things because I want people to see them and I want, my content to lead to future opportunities. So the way I look at TikTok or YouTube or Facebook or Instagram is it's just another place for me to put my content. So it's turned into like, it's crazy how quick people can grow a following on TikTok. And I've never seen a platform really quite like it ever. Like my On Your Mark, wrestling content that we make, our TikTok in like 3 or 4 weeks, we're about to hit 10,000 followers. And
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, we're really excited. But what's funny is like we've been on YouTube since 2014 and we haven't even broke 5,000 followers. So that says a lot about like the TikTok platform. And, at first my partner and the On Your Mark, he was really frustrated about it. He's like, God dang it, man. We've been putting all these amazingly highly produced videos, and we put our heart and all this content on YouTube, and it gets a fun reaction, but like we have only seen certain numbers, but in like 3 weeks, we've gone way past what we ever did on YouTube. And at first he was frustrated, and I'm like, dude, this is great, because if this is finally the platform where these videos are connecting with people, if they genuinely like the content, they'll go and check out everything else we're like putting out there. So, dude, I think that while, some people look at it as that is just like cringy videos, while that's on there, that's on every platform. You can find that on every platform. And I think that TikTok has just become such a popular platform for many reasons. Like I said, it's one of the few that you can grow a quick following. Like my mom has a TikTok, and it's so funny, and she's got hundreds of followers. Like, it's just a bizarre world we live in. We're, like, 100, you got to really think about it, man. Like 100 followers, like, doesn't sound like a lot. But if you put yourself in a theater in front of 100 people, that's a lot of people, So I always try to tell people, like, when they get down on like their follower counts, I'm like, put yourself in a theater with that many people. Like, that's awesome. So I don't know. It's a wild world we live in, where, like, especially in this quarantine, the stages are all digital now, man. Like,
Yeah,
you and I are never going to meet in person. I only want our interactions to be digital ever.
Oh, totally. I totally get that.
Good. It's just cleaner, man. It's just cleaner.
Yeah. Just kind of, take out the middleman,
Yeah.
meeting in person.
Yeah.
But dude, like, you were talking about your Mark Extreme character, and
Mark E Extreme.
Oh, right.
Trevor.
Sorry. Yeah.
Sorry. That's cool.
And you're a huge wrestling fan, right? And that's
I actually used to be a wrestler. So
really, that's awesome.
Yeah. I did independent wrestling from 2004 to 2000. Well, you never really quit, Trevor. So I still dabble in independent events here and there, but I was doing it full time for about 3 years, from when I was like 17 to like 20, but I was a wrestling fan ever since I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. So you've always been into entertaining people, it seems like. This seems like your favorite thing in the world. Is that true?
Yeah, man. To be like truthful, like, I picked up my first video camera when I was 9 or 10 or something like that. And I haven't stopped making content genuinely since then. Like, back when like the VHS camera was the thing, I used to just like take my camera, put it on my big TV, and film myself doing like goofy skits and stuff. And I used to get so much joy from just like showing my mom's friends that would come over, or my cousins that would come over, just the dumbest stuff that I was doing. And then I really never stopped doing that. And it just kind of has evolved with the stages that have been presented. Like, back then, our stages was our living room, you know what I mean? And, it turned into all kinds of different things as the years progressed. And that's really like how I got into entertainment, is just, putting my stuff out there. Like YouTube, I jumped on it the first year it opened, and that being early on YouTube, when I was doing it back then, I was doing sketches really early, like, led to so many crazy opportunities. And but yeah, man, I just get like, I get the most joy from making something and seeing people react to it, in any kind of way. And I think that's an artist, period, is like, making something and to make people feel something. And that's, genuinely how, I've always, that's where I've always got the most joy. And it really, like, I was inspired most like early on from Pee Wee Herman and like Nickelodeon, and just like crazy, comedians and stuff like that. Like, I just wanted to be them. I wanted to be on Nickelodeon. I wanted to do all those things. And so, like, for me, the way to scratch that itch at that time, because I didn't know how to like get in entertainment back then, but the way to scratch that itch for me was like filming myself and creating my own TV shows and stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's so rad. And I can tell, I see the Nickelodeon influences in
Oh,
your work.
dude.
Like, I can tell that you enjoy being like a human cartoon character.
Yeah. Yeah, man. You know, I think as comedians, we get the most joy, you know, from making people laugh. And like, that's every comedian has like the same kind of story. Like comedy found them because it was their way to, you know, protect themselves because, you know, deep down when we were kids, we were like super self-conscious about all these crazy things. Like, you know, I was like a heavy kid, redhead, freckles with a speech condition. And, you know, so comedy was a way for me to like make people not laugh at me, but laugh with me. And, you know, once I found that out, that I was kind of like good at that, like it's an addiction, man. Like it's a drug when you get people laughing. And so yeah, like comedy's always been like my comfort zone. And I've been able to do a lot of fun things because that was like kind of where I built my foundation in entertainment, I guess.